Okay everyone, the X-Spider Films here, and I like to believe that I am going to do something unique, which you probably haven't seen all that much before. I am going to review the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy in video game form. Yeah. And if you're picking up those birds, they're right outside of my window. Kind of annoying. But once again, we're starting with Spider-Man. And the developers Treyarch, this is the first Spider-Man game that Treyarch made, and they went with a don't fix what isn't broken approach, because this is very similar to the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game, except with better graphics, of course, and different villains, different story, and of course the inclusion of different combos and the fact that you could actually turn while swinging. That was new. But that was about it. If you like the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game, you'll have fun while playing this. The boss fights with the Goblin, heck, most of the boss fights in this game are very well done. The only boss fights which I had problems with were the boss fight against Uncle Ben's killer, because that was tougher than the Vulture fight, and that shouldn't happen. And the one against Scorpion. If you were playing that game on hard, the Scorpion is just ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as the Goblin, but the Goblin has tricks that you can exploit. But this follows the plot from the movie while expanding on it, because the game lasts longer than the movie. It had more time because it's a game to do stuff. But it still doesn't explain why the Green Goblin wants to kill Spider-Man, so if you're playing the game to figure that out, play Spider-Man 2. And aside from that one Batman thing I did today, this is going to be the day of Spider-Man, so yeah. Today's my day of uploading because I haven't done anything in a month and I'm really bored. But I have it for the Nintendo GameCube, the Player's Choice Edition, and it takes up 2 blocks on your memory card. So if you happen to have a really crappy memory card, this is a good choice. And of course it came out in 2002 to accommodate the movie. The actors in it are really well done. The people are reprising the roles from the movie, and I like it. The death of Norman Scene is not nearly as well done, though, because, of course, it's a video game, and, well, that was a live-action movie. But, hey, what are you gonna do? The CGI cutscenes are really good for the time, also. But all in all, I'm going to give this game a 8 out of 10, because you have to remember, this was back on the GameCube, and it was a beat-em-up. Superhero beat-em-up. But, and it still has all the fun as the PlayStation 1 version, except it takes out a bunch of stuff that made the PlayStation 1 version so great, and it concentrates on a movie which we've already seen. And it gets way more repetitive than the PlayStation 1 version. But, once again, time for the golden child of the series, Spider-Man 2. And when I was a kid, back in the day, 7 years old, Spider-Man 2 came out. This game was the only thing that ever sat in my GameCube. Because you got to feel like you were Spider-Man. You would just swing around the city and fight crime, fight some bosses, which, when I was 7, were really punishing bosses. And upgrade your Spider-Man so we can, like, do a bunch of crazy crap. And to this day, I still go back and replay it every once in a while. And this game was the first time we saw the ever so loved in Spider-Man gaming, open world. Oh my god, I love open world. And once again, actors from the movies are reprising the role, so the acting is still top-notch because these people have experience with the characters. And the graphics in this game also look very good. Spider-Man's character model looks very nice, and the frame rate does not go down as you're swinging through high speeds in the city, unlike other games. You'll find out which one I'm mentioning later. Spoiler. And fighting crimes in the city, is, even though all the thugs look the same, has always been fun. And of course, since it was my first ever GameCube game, looking at the disc right now, this disc has been through a lot of punishment. I'm amazed it still works. Good job, Nintendo, on making good disc. I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. Next up, Spider-Man 3. Guess what this game does? The exact same mistake the third movie had. Trying to replicate the success of Spider-Man 2 and overdoing it. Yeah. But I'm reviewing the PlayStation 2 version, and please note that the PlayStation 3 version sucks more. At high speeds, the PlayStation 3 version will actually lag more. So if you happen to have an extra $10 laying around and you want to watch interviews for Spider-Man 3 with Avi Arad, Topher Grace, Tobey Maguire, and all those people, go ahead and buy the collector's version of the PlayStation 3 version. But if you want to play Spider-Man 3 the game for some odd reason, just buy it for the PlayStation 2. It's not nearly as long, nearly as difficult, and yeah. And this didn't just take the overcrammed storyline of the movie and expand that out and make it better. Because that would have been a great choice for the game, since the game could allot for more time, like a 6 to 8 hour game. That would do a much, much better job of expanding the movie so it wouldn't feel as cluttered and the game would actually be the definitive version of the movie, because you could get the whole story and actually appreciate it for what it is. Because the story in Spider-Man 3 is a good story. They just crammed it a lot and stuff like that, but oh well, that's not like anything you haven't heard in my review. And if I forgot to mention that stuff in that review, well, obviously you're watching this one. But this just doesn't expand on the movie and help it make more sense and not be as cluttered. This just adds more villains, more unjustified villains into this. We get the Lizard, which kind of sucks, because I guarantee you in Spider-Man 4 they were going to have the Lizard. I mean, they've been setting up Dr. Kirk Connors since Spider-Man 2. They wanted the Lizard in there. I mean, the only reason we're seeing the Amazing Spider-Man with the Lizard in it is because Spider-Man 4 got canceled. Speaking of Spider-Man 4 being cancelled, did you see that really funny interview where Tobey Maguire interviewed Andrew Garfield about the Spider-Man movie? Oh my god, that was awesome. But the graphics in this game somehow managed to be worse than the graphics in Spider-Man 2, without even talking about how technology has advanced. Comparing the graphics, Spider-Man 2 actually somehow looks better on the PlayStation 2, and that one plays better. I mean, if you're looking for a Spider-Man beat-em-up with the open world where you can play a black-suited Spider-Man that's based off of the movie and you want to hear Tobey Maguire's voice, then play Spider-Man 3. I guess that's the only demographic I guess I could be pandering to at this point. Because the final boss against Venom is much better done in the Ultimate Spider-Man game when you have the final boss against Venom. Actually, Ultimate Spider-Man was a better Venom-themed story in the first place. Ultimate Spider-Man is superior to Spider-Man 3 on the PlayStation 2 in every single way. Even graphics, because the art style in that game looked really good. But we're not here to compare comic books to movies now, are we? Objectively speaking, comparing Spider-Man 3 to the rest of the series, it had even more repetitive gameplay, even more sucky bosses than most of the other two games combined, and the game just feels lazy after all the cool stuff we got in Spider-Man 2. So I'm giving Spider-Man 3 as a game a 5 out of 10. Really only play if you're a diehard Spider-Man fan. So yeah, that's my opinion on the series. So if you're going to pick one up in that series, pick up Spider-Man 2. You'll be the best off.